Welcome to Performer Stuff Pro Series, a collaborative forum where working professionals can share together their knowledge, experiences, hopefully a little wisdom, but most importantly, their collective passion for live entertainment. I'm Mark Pawsey, and today I will be having a face-to-face conversation with the Canadian director, Krista Monson. Krista, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. It is a huge pleasure to see you again.
Why did you choose creative arts as the profession of your choice?
There was just nothing else. It just was, for me, crystal clear, at least the direction. You know, I've kind of gone through different roles and incarnations in the creative arts, but I would say it chose me.
So I met you about 15 years ago in Vegas when you were artistic director of O. Those people that haven't seen O or don't know much about it, can you just tell us a little bit of the history and the magnitude of that show?
So O is one of the it's I would say it's arguably one of the biggest shows of Cirque du Soleil that has been around for over 20 years now, and it's the, I would argue, the first time in history where a full show is made over a body of water. So there are 1.5 million gallons of water in this massive pool with hydraulic lifts coming up and down to enable land-based performances and water-based performances. It was created, directed by Franco Dragone, and it is a real. It's really poetry. People really describe it as poetry coming to life, while mixing hundreds of different circus and artistic disciplines. I was lucky and privileged enough to be offered the role of artistic director, which was becoming the guardian of the integrity of the show.
Tell me what curiosity means to you in the creative arts.
For me, curiosity, Mark, is the foundation of our work. Being curious about life, being curious about different stories, being curious about when you see something and you get really scared, frankly, and think, I could never do that. It's actually a form of curiosity in disguise, that it's compelling you to go there. When I'm in an audition, I'm running an audition, I always let curiosity be the thread that brings us to the next step. I just think curiosity and listening, it sounds like it's a passive word, because a lot of curiosity is observing, listening, being curious, inquisitive, asking questions to yourself or to somebody else. But actually, it's a very active word, and this, for me, is the driving force for why I love to do what I love to do.
Who or what inspires you to create now?
Everyday people all over the world who have had to to rise above difficulty, and because that's storytelling, that's conflict. We're all in this together, and so these great, whether it's a comedy, whether it's visual storytelling in a Cirque du Soleil style, hyper-realism, we're attracted by triumph over the odds, and there are so many people living that every day that I'm learning now to open my eyes to what's going on in an everyday sense, and how we can bring that in a surreal, beautiful, touching, moving way where people will walk away also being inspired. So it's everyday people.
Do you think that dreams and creativity have a place in the world?
They're essential. And right now I think we're just that renaissance of discovering why we need it. Not is it that whole, is it fluff, a nice to have, or is it a must have? I will argue till the day I die that it's an absolute must have. People need it. They need to come. Part of it is coming together. And this is where we're challenged now, is how people come together to experience a story in front of us, or going to an art museum and just getting lost in a painting or a piece of music. it's I wouldn't say it's the ointment, but it's the way we nourish ourselves to become better human beings.
Cirque offers so many different types of job, and you've been in casting. How do people go about getting a job at Cirque? What's the way to find out what's on offer?
There's a virtual scout, so artists from all over the world, no matter where they are, because Cirque wants to discover the pearls of the world who are doing things no one is doing, or that's creativity, is bringing two things together and watching this spontaneously combust into something amazing. But those artists who might be in a little city in Brazil, or they can't easily fly to New York to an audition, so the virtual scout enables those artists to apply online. And sometimes that online has kind of a cold kind of connotation, but it really, in a positive way, really, there are no limits. Everyone can audition. And then the scouts, the specialists in Montreal and in Las Vegas will look at that artist and that video and their work and their resume and bio, looking at the quality, even if there isn't an open position for them at that moment, or for someone of their profile at that moment. If the quality was there and they represent something that it's exciting and making them curious, then they will go into a database. And then often when Cirque is doing new creations, those directors, whether or not he or she comes from circus, will ask, what else is going on in the world? Who's shaking things up in a new way? And so that's when those videos and those applicants can shine. On the other hand, there are often roles that are needed tomorrow, and with very clear definition of what those are. So whether one applies online or they go to an audition, they can be considered that way too.
And what makes a good audition? What makes a good audition in a room, and what makes a good audition on a tape?
Okay. A good audition in a room is 100% showing up. Then when we're in the throes of the audition, openness to try to be different. We would always challenge artists in the live situation to do what they're really good at and to show us where they shine. But we'd also say to a hip hop artist, okay, we want you to do this ballet combination. And that exposes vulnerability, and they're not used to it. And nor is a ballet artist, a ballet dancer, used to doing a groovy kind of different type of style either. But it's really to test, are they open? Are they open to try? Are they willing to even laugh at themselves? And this is hard because we're working with elite artists who have trained and are very proud of what they do, deservedly so. But in those auditions, we would always save time for new things, just to see how far they would go with it. I would say, and to this day, I will advise, show us your best work, whatever that might be. And then, of course, it's fair to say, short and sweet reels. Very high res, good quality. And this is where artists have to make some hard choices, because we become attached to these wonderful moments, but always imagine how that will be received, assuming that they don't know you. So high quality footage, not too quick of edits for dancers, or for any artist. As a casting director and the directors, they want to see how you get from point A to point B, not just the big tricks. So it's not a music video. We have, have moments where we see transitions and we see through how an artist goes from one to the other.
If you're looking for somebody, I remember when we were artistic directors, you don't have a lot of time to look at videos. So you get sent 10, you're going to look and you decide pretty quickly. So they have to catch you immediately.
The purpose of the video, in my opinion, isn't in terms of what's my expectation. Has it happened that someone's seen a video and they say, you're on the job tomorrow? Yes, it has. But it's the extreme minority of the cases. for me, the goal, if I was to advise somebody on making a video, your goal is to make them curious. Your goal is to make them ask you questions back, not to summarize your life, your creative story in 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Show them what you've got, shake it up, be very, very good, and make them come back to you.
One piece of advice you could give a young person today who wants to work or make a living in the creative arts, what would be that advice?
Never forget the power of yes. Get involved. The power of yes. Look, if instead of looking for all the ways to say no, look for the ways to say yes. And if the answer is still no, then say no. Trust yourself. But saying yes to, and I would say saying yes, and what will help guide that yes is your own curiosity. What keeps you up at night? And often we again, back to finding our own voice. You know, oh, I should be watching. Yes, go see every single musical out there, or every single play, or go, just get out, get the blue note, the seats that are 20 pounds. You know, that you have to stand in line with at 6 o'clock in the morning because there's only 20 seats like this. Stand in line. Even if you're established and you know, sit in the second balcony. You know, don't let your ego get involved. The ego, for me, whenever we say to ourselves, I'm important, or we feel we have to assert ourselves, to assert our importance, that's our ego getting in the way. But when they say, oh, there's one ticket left, it's up there and it's 15 pounds, and you think, oh, that's not me. The power of yes. Sit up there. Take a look at life from another perspective.
Krista, thank you so much for sharing a small part of yourselves within our Performer Stuff Pro Series, and for helping to keep entertainment alive, nourished, and full of hope. And for those watching this, please continue to dream big. And while you're dreaming, look out for more Performer Stuff Pro Series coming your way real soon. Krista, thank you, and toodle pip.